What's up guys, welcome back to the iherng podcast, and today this episode is brought to you by Property Guru introducing Bricks Home Report. This is a great tool where I use during my investment process in getting to know the exact transacted data of a particular project that I'm interested in. So if you go into the website and you key in the project that you're looking for, it shows you all the past and the latest up-to-date transacted prices of the particular project. So it's beyond the asking price, what's the market price. At least you know what was the transacted price 6 months ago. It's all to ensure that we are paying the right price of the property, not too high, not too low. Even if you were to buy higher than the market price, we gotta know why. But if you want a more detailed report, then it will cost you 69 ringgit to get a version where it includes also the unit number, where we can determine the orientation and the floor height. So level 27, is it the same with level 2? Logically, not really, but how much more then? With this report, then I can answer all those questions accurately. So if you're interested, I will just put the link down below, and today we will answer a question from Nick. Hi Sean, this is Nick. Hope this message finds you well. I've been listening to your podcast for a few months, have learned a lot from your informative videos, really appreciate it. I'm 26 this year, working as a dentist, currently based in Selangor with around 20,000 monthly income. Currently having 100,000 cash on hand, 100,000 cash in stocks. After watching so many of your videos, I finally began my property journey last month. Went for a Subsale high-rise unit at Shah Alam, as this is where my clinic is. Therefore, I'm more familiar with the area. Just got my loan approval last week, going to sign the SPA next week. It's a 3-bedroom unit, price 490,000. Down payment is about 10%, including all those stamp duty, legal fee. In total, it will be almost 17%. Monthly installment 2,000, maintenance 330 ringgit per month. Rental there based on Property Guru website is about 2,200. I took the median. Previous owner left most of the furniture there, so basically I only need to buy mattress and TV, probably a bit of repair here and there, then can start renting out. On the other side, my girlfriend's parents are not very happy with my action. As for them, it's better to first acquire a home for ourselves. Me and my girlfriend going to register next year, then only plan for investment. From my side, my plan is to rent a place near our workplace, probably a landed unit with rental about 1,600. They think that renting the condo out and stay somewhere else is quite mafan, and it doesn't make a lot of difference every month, probably just 200 to 300 ringgit. That's also if I get a tenant. If no tenant, then I need to fork out more every month. Then they start telling me all the risk involved in renting out, tenants problem lah, late payment lah, no tenancy lah. From their point of view, I just have to focus on my work, which brings me decent income, makes my life simpler as I don't have to bother all this stuff. In fact, I factored in all the possibility, therefore made the informed decision. But still, I respect their opinion as they are going to be my in-laws and they have gone through a lot in the past. Yet I do understand that time has changed and now we are more exposed to all this information in investment, and since I'm very young, it's actually better to start now as there are less cost for mistake. And yeah, from my parents' side, they are quite supportive with my decision. In fact, they helped me with the down payment and I really appreciate it. So I'm seeking your advice. Number 1, for my case, is it better to acquire a home first then only invest, as it can be troublesome managing the property, yet the net income after deducting my own rental is not as much? Number 2, I take property investment as a diversification tool, yet they think that I'm being too aggressive. It's like haven't learned how to walk, want to fly. They don't like investment as for them it's risky. How do I communicate with them regarding on this? It's like a gap. I think these two are the main issues. Looking for your expert opinions. Looking forward to your reply. Thank you in advance. Have a good day. Well, first of all, thank you very much, Nick, for sending in the email. This is pretty direct. I'm 26 years old dentist earning about 20,000 income, 100,000 on cash, 100,000 in stocks, and the parent just paid for the down payment for this 3-bedroom apartment in Shah Alam, about 500,000. The total fees for a subsale is about 17%. So the monthly installment is 2,000, maintenance is 330 bucks, and the rental there is about 2,002 based on the research. So what I like, number 1, the entire investment action is taken with clarity in mind. 490 paid 10%, which is 49,000, another 7%, which is like 33 to 35,000. Then this audience here clearly know what's the monthly installment, what's the guesstimation of the monthly rental if you were to rent out, what's the condition of the unit, unit. I love it, right? I love the clarity that this audience have. And this is the exact reason why a lot of people would still prefer to buy new properties because of the hefty down payment. For this 500,000 project, let's say it's 17 to 18%, right? A person need to fork out 85,000 to own a 500,000 apartment. And this is just for ownership, yeah. We haven't even talked about renovation yet. We haven't talked about all the furniture, trigger appliances. As I'm going through the entire process right now for my new unit, one wash tower is about 9,000, one fridge is about 2,000 to 3,000, TV, water heater, aircon. One aircon unit is about 2,000, one unit got 3 to 4 units. That's a big lump sum. We haven't even considered bed yet, kitchen cabinet yet, wardrobe yet. Woof. And guess what? It's only going to go higher. The entire cost of things right now, especially after the diesel subsidy removal, right? Things are really hiking up, and we mentioned throughout the few episodes before already. As I'm going through the news around property right now, there's less emphasis about oversupply, heavy overhang, and things like that already. If you were to notice, right? It's all about high cost, high cost, may it be labor cost or construction cost or material cost or whatsoever. That leads to another different perspective as well. Developers are afraid of selling out their projects too. For example, if let's say I were to launch a new project maybe in like Segambut, right? I've sold 50% of it, then the removal of diesel subsidy happens. What's going to happen is I will put in all the uncertainty of the construction cost to come for the next 4 years into the pricing of today for the next remaining half. Because my greatest fear is I finish sold out, right? But my cost is not fixed. So the cost might just get jacked up and eat up into my profit margin. Maybe I will build the project in a loss in the future. So I guess developers are also having a very tough time right now because of their nature of having limited supplies. In this piece of land, I only have 500 units, that's all. If I want to finish it, no more. I need to find a new canvas to go through the entire process all over again. Back to the subsale also, when we buy subsale, there's this thing called the existing condition. So for those who are not familiar with buying subsale, usually we visit the unit once or twice. If you are a big kiasu like me, we will determine what is left over by the owner, what is not, and it's best that all these are stated in the SPA. Take picture and put it in the agreement. Unlike new properties directly from developers, it's usually all empty. Whatever that's given, like the kitchen cabinet, water heater and things like that, right? All are stated in the SPA on the additionals clause. And usually you don't have to worry that much because it's still under HDA. Means that the government oversees the entire drafting of SPA, so it's all standard. Developers cannot just chin-chai add in specific clause to cheat you or scam you or whatsoever. Cannot, right? It's protected. So that's the good side of Malaysian government. But on subsale then, we are kind of on our own. We can draft whatever we want within as long as it's agreed between both parties. So if you buy subsale, sometimes there's this clause called lock, stock and barrel. Means that whatever in the unit, I take it all. So it means like the chandelier, the fan, the curtain, the light. Because technically, if I were to buy a new unit, I will want the previous owner to remove everything. One condition. The other one is I want to remain everything, or we agreed on partial. This is where the partial happens. Means that the previous owner will leave back the furniture. And if you were to think about it, in this situation, then the eye of design then helps. Means that, okay, I know that if I were to add a wallpaper here, the furniture will look amazing. The bed here is a queen size. I just don't want a mattress. I want the bed rack. I'll just add on a new mattress, gao dim. The kitchen, I can just touch up a little bit, gao dim. So with these kind of small little details, subsale buyers will be able to save a lot of money. So for Nick here, his rationale of buying a condo in Shah Alam is because he works around there. So he's a little bit more familiar around the place, which is good. That is the main thing that I always encourage as well. Start with the location that you are most familiar with, where you know this one Friday stuck because of the international school. Here, Thursday night stuck because of Pasar Malam. This is the popular hot area for the locals because of the nasi lemak bumbung or whatever. Only locals will know. And that gives you a lot of insight, which leads to better decision-making process, right? But now he is pissing off his in-laws. So he's with his girlfriend who's going to register soon, about next year, right? the parents-in-law, future parents-in-law is not very happy because they didn't buy a property for own stay first instead of investing first. So what do I think? His plan is to rent a landed unit around the area for 1,600, which I totally agree. So that leads to question number 1 already. In his case, is it better to acquire a home first, only invest, because it can be troublesome managing property, yet the net income after deducting my own rental is not as much? Okay, let's not forget, right? What's the goal for property investment? Property investment is not something where you buy now and you make money instantly. That's not the whole case of property investment. A lot of people forget, right? Property is a long-term game. And just so happen now, we find that crack of strategy to somewhat have a easier holding period for us. Means that now if I were to buy and hold for the next 10 years, the rental will cover the installment. So I don't have to bleed as hard. Maybe 1 month I just bleed 200 or 300. But if I were to hold across the years, I will build wealth by having equity within the property, and the property will actually appreciate in capital. It's not something that you buy instantly, every month you make extra 1,000. With the same logic, right? No offense to the in-law, but I'm just like, I love this kind of debate lah. Then you save so much money in FD, right? Your interest couldn't even beat inflation. Then why save? Then if you are in a business, sometimes you lose money, then don't do the business, is it? Like this kind of logic, so I know it comes from a place of love. It comes from a place of care and tender, whatever you call it, like that TLC, right? I don't care. This almost sounds like the previous episode where I encourage everybody to start protecting our head. Once we get clarity on how investment works, we need to really protect instead of getting brainwashed all over again by media. Because you think about it, right, why a lot of people lose money in any form of investment, not only property, in most form of investment, why people buy crypto in all-time high? Why people buy property in all-time high, stock in all-time high? Because they follow the hype. They follow media, they follow what people say, what people do. Because when you look into the market, right, when crypto was the thing, a lot of guru came out. When stock market was the thing, a lot of guru come out. When property was the thing, a lot of guru come out also. But during MCO, do you see any? No. When you see crypto crashing, do you see any? No. Then we think about how people really make money is when they have contrarian thinking. It's just like what Warren Buffett said, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. So when market is bad, right? When market is bad, sales not so good, then developer won't price as ambitious, then we get more opportunity in getting the right stock. And that is also why, like for the older generations, right, around our parent generation, you see now Diversifying City, one simple landed house is about 1.8 million to 2.3 million. Crazy. Last time 500,000 also no people want. Exactly the point. Why didn't you buy when it was only 500,000? Oh yeah, because it's not cool. People say it's just Kepong next to Manjalara. It's not going to do good just because of a lake. You think people will want to buy me? And that's also the main reason why 2080 rule applies. Like 20% of Malaysians' population is going to own 80% of total wealth in Malaysia. And if you come to think about it, it's true, right? If you look into every company, like back in the days when I was still in this development company, one old man right at the top has more wealth compared to 5,000 over employees of his. If you just to brain that for a while, right? One person, one boss with his company, right? He owns more than the entire company's people's wealth combined. And we still want to work for him. And it's exactly because of the concept like this. You do business, sure got risk ma. You will lose money lah. Sometimes people don't want to pay you lah. Sometimes no stock lah. Sometimes people cheat you lah. Sometimes so you go and work lor. Get a steady paycheck lor. Is it wrong? No. It's entirely up to what you want. But don't you think at 26, right? 26, you are earning 20,000 income, having 100,000 in cash, 100,000 in stocks. What's the worst that can happen? So if you don't take risk now, when would you suggest? When you have 2 kids, then business not as good, is it? And this clearly illustrates the mind block of me trying to push my content out, because a lot of people will still find it very crazy, right, to first buy an investment unit before getting a home. I will always encourage people to rent one. Like, your move of renting a 1,006 landed house, right? I think most probably the house there is about $1 million. And if you reverse calculate, right, a 800,000 house to $1 million house, the monthly installment is about 4,000. It wouldn't make sense for anybody to buy, because these exact same folks who are complaining about how property cannot make money, right, they are willingly paying the difference. You see what's the irony there? They can pay for an 800,000 house, pay 4,000 and rent out 4,500. They don't even want to rent out because maybe they will spoil the house lah. They want to keep it as your own stay house. Then for what? The concept of a house and a home is 2 different entities altogether. And at 26, bro. But then when you buy an investment property where it's 500,000, monthly installment is 2,000, and you can rent out 2,002 to 2,005 if you furnish nicely, and they say it's mafan, you make 200 extra. If you buy a landed house every month, you need to cough out 4,000 and it's fine. I don't get it. Really, I don't get it. But if we practice active listening, the main thing that the in-laws are saying is, you are marrying my daughter, why not have an established home first? But they don't understand the concept between asset and liability, house versus a home, and the price of houses of today. If you were to think from a practical point of view, right, it will be way easier to have this nomad format of living where you can just move anytime you want to, year by year, experiment. Like now you rent a 1,600 house, maybe it's too big for you. 2-person live in a landed house, household is going to kill you, bro. Like that's the amount of 4 toilets, right? You every weekend it's just to wash toilet only. Why have so many rooms when nobody is using it? Then at this age, then you will start to pursue efficiency instead of comfort. We still want to strive in our career. Now you're 20,000, what's wrong with 100,000, right? Correct. In that sense, then your in-laws are correct where, why don't you focus on your work instead of focusing on the property? That's why we invest in properties. At most, we will be kacau like once or twice a year. Like now during the purchase, it's a little bit more work, then renovation, then once rent out, right? What to do? Everyone wait for rent only. And that's one of the main reasons why people don't like property also, because it's too slow, too boring. But it's perfect for people with awesome careers like yours. You can just focus, get a property management company like Cozy Homes, right? They will manage everything from you. Even when you have interfloor leaking between units, they will settle it for you. They will just give you the bill and we just pay lah, nothing wrong ma. So it allows us to indirectly build our wealth while building our career at the same time. Try doing it with crypto, try doing it with stocks. One tweet, the whole market collapse. One announcement, bull run will start. Then it's just so I'm just gonna look past whatever your in-laws are saying, because deep down I think they understand. They are just sad that the daughter and the new son-in-law don't have a home under their name. And from a personal experience, it took my entire family a very, very long time to actually understand why I'm still renting when I have a portfolio of investments. It used to be an excuse where, ayo, they so kesian, the children is gonna not develop properly under a rented property. Silly, right? A house is a house lah. But until the channel picked up some steam, until they know that the son-in-law is getting recognized because of his property investment strategy and things like that, then he has a portfolio. Or it's part of a strategy to own more, yet having the flexibility to stay where he wants to stay until the kid really needs his own privacy and space, only we settle down. But meanwhile, there's only this initial phase of things where you have very limited DSR, very limited 90% slots. It's an opportunity to maximize all those in the first few. After that, only we start looking for dream home lah. Because when there's only 2 of you all, how much space you all need? A 600 square feet will do what? That's the long answer. The short answer, I've always encouraged, right, youngsters who have abilities to buy an investment property first. Just as we mentioned just now, we have limited 90% slots for residential properties. You buy the first one, this makes sense because of its 90% slot. I only pay 10% down payment plus all the miscellaneous. Imagine if this is your third property, if it's 70%, it means you need to pay at least 150,000 upfront just to own a 500,000 property. That time no need to buy already. Who walks around with 150,000? It means that next Nick here needs to liquidate everything plus his stocks to only afford this property. But at that time, confirm property cash flow positive lah, because the amount of loan also very little mah. So when we only have 2 slots, you buy one for your home, you burn out your entire DSR. And the thing about home is this: you think they will just settle for cheap home eh? Nick, you make so much money, 20,000 per month, you can easily get a $1 million house lah. Every month 4,000 only installment. You cannot afford me after the home, right? Then have a children lah. The first one went, second one lah. When second one, then you need to upgrade your car lah for safety lah. Then you got insurance or not lah. You can So to me, I like your move, right? I support your move, and your parents are awesome. Like, they are giving down payment on behalf of you, right? Best gift I can recommend to all parents with a little bit more savings lah, right? Like, this sets you apart. Like, now I will even push it further. Like, once you get your tenants and your tenancy signed already, wait for 6 months until your tenancy kind of stabilize. Then you can start looking for the second one already. I will go to the extent where I love my girlfriend so much, which is going to be my wife soon. I love her so much. Let's buy the landed home under her name. You see where I'm going? I invest 2 first using my salary and income. Let's get a property under the wife's name for home. To prove my commitment, to prove my love, to prove myself to the family, if they still insist, if they still don't understand. And my concern here is this: like, during the start of the process, the main reason why you get is because you understand the game of wealth diversification. You understand that it's a long-term game, it's to build equity, it's to build wealth using other people's money, other people's time. I think you get it, right? You're very smart. But because of you being brainwashed constantly, like, no choice lah. Whenever you go to their house, they eat dinner together, sure, they talk all this kind of thing mah. Now you're even complaining it can be troublesome managing the property after deducting the rental. Bro, you know this already when you buy. The whole goal is to just break even. Cantik already, you break even, cantik already. A lot of people will still complain, every month you become poorer. The goal ending point is not this year nor next year. The measuring point should be 15, 20 years, 30 years down the road. Let's see then who is richer. Don't compare the first, like, we are even like the first quarter in MBA only. So remember, we are so early in the process and we're already winning. I just need to just stay consistent, stay neutral for the first 10, 15 years, right? After that, then we'll explode already. Question number 2, I take property investment as a diversification tool, yet they think I'm being too aggressive. Okay, it's like you haven't learned how to walk already want to fly. To me, it's this. That's why this channel happens. The easiest form of getting started is to start. It sounds stupid. What I'm trying to say is that there's no easier way than to just consume properties. But the thing is this, the reality is you can read about pull-ups all you want. You can watch videos about pull-ups all you want. The only way to get it is to go to the bar and pull yourself. Train, right? But the problem is if you train the wrong technique, it takes a very, very long time developing back muscles. But now you already have clarity in mind, the strategy all outlay after watching all my content and all, you get it. And as a first investment, I will argue the location a little bit, Shah Alam, not my preferred choice, but you understand it better than me. That's why you see the opportunity. That's why you pull the trigger. Let's go with it. So from a personal level, what do I do? Because it's very weird whenever I get into gatherings with my family as well. They do not understand 100%. And I will dictate whether to continue the conversations about this niche of knowledge of mine only when they are open-minded. I have a lot of relatives that tells me about Bitcoin being a scam, stock market being a scam, property investment cannot make money, but I don't see them being rich also. Once again, I will only refer to advice from people who is living the lifestyle I want. So if you're ambitious and you really want to build serious wealth with your serious income, right? As much as I love them, as much as I love my family members, I love them for them. I don't love them for their knowledge. I don't go to them for investment advice, for relationship advice and things like that. They are not expert in it. Just so happen faith brought us together in the same family line, sharing the same bloodline. That's about it. And the only way when they will see results, right, I think is when you reach your 4th or 5th property investment. I mean it. Like clearly with your income level, right, and your savings and the wealth that you own at your age, you are an ultra high flyer already. I think in comparison to your peers, you are doing really, really well already. So just to give you some confidence, what's the worst that can happen? Your tenant don't pay in time, or a market collapse or things like that. I think you can almost cash buy the entire apartment. What's the fear? You see what I mean? I don't see any problem at all. To me, in my books, if I'm having that salary right now, this is not the only property. I will settle for at least 5 or 6, at least. Because now I can qualify for 35 years loan, which brings my monthly installment to the least, which increases the probability of finding a property where the renter can cover my installment. Because my installment is the lowest possible rate at 35 years. And then banks love me because of my income. I will not have any problem qualifying for loan, but the only thing that I will take care, which is the only sensible thing your in-laws are telling you, focus on the business. I know a lot of dentists are consuming my content and I'm very proud of it, because as much as you guys are making money actively because you guys need to really fill up the chair, the only time when the business is not making money is when the chair is empty. Unfortunately, that's active income, a very high active income lah. But then a way to diversify around it is via 2 ways. Business wise, where you can expand, then you hire younger graduates, or you partner with some other dentists, so you take turn and you hire. For people who have no ability to open their own clinic, then yeah, that's the way to go. You don't need me to teach you. But the other side is to invest in properties, in making money work for you, the same way like your stock market. Then the goal is when you are 50, if you decided to stop working, you can. So the business can still run itself and you still get paid in somewhat of a dividend annually or biannually, whatever. Then property also the same, like in 26 years old. In 56 years old, you would have owned all the properties you buy today full. Just think about it, right? If I buy this one, to next year another one, another year one, that's it. 3 sao dong. Focus on business. So by 57, 58, 59, you will have 1, 2, 3 all properties fully paid. But how much do you really pay for it? Negligible compared to the total amount that you own. And did you make a lot of money? That I would argue, because it's just nice to hedge against inflation. So it will not waste all your effort in building your active income. Does it involve a lot of your active income into build this? Not really also. It's a mere usage of the credibility obtained from your active income. You don't really buy and hold all the way also, right? And that's something that a lot of people do not see. But again, 98% of the advice from your in-laws, I would just neglect, because it comes from a point of love. The only way to solve it is when you all get married. May I suggest to use your wife's name to get a property, then, and I guess that will just scratch their itch a little bit lah. And that's a strategy that I use also. I take heavy loads of investment. I leverage a lot on my own, but I play very safe using my wife's name. But the monthly installment I still pay lah, right? It's still under me. And what I do extra on top of that is to have a higher insurance on that purchase itself, because in case anything happens to me, all assets under my name are protected. But on her side, she still needs to pay for the house. So that's the only risk. So I need to ensure that my own insurance, when I am gone, when anything happens to me, I will have surplus to cover that side of the investment as well. So that's just something very important to take note if you were to take that strategy. But in my opinion, you are doing awesome. So happy for you, man. And this just illustrates the point of how winners continue winning. So it's very difficult for normal folks to brain a 26 years old earning 20,000. That already break a lot of people's belief already. 月入过万, like money income above 10,000 is still a dream to many of us. But you broke that like what? I think 24 you broke 10,000 already. But as an elder brother, I would suggest to lay low on your lifestyle. Don't ball on sneakers, don't ball on watches, don't ball on cars, things that will depreciate, right? Build asset first. Ball only on the money that is coming out from the investment. That's how I think about it. It means whatever income I will invest aggressively, not stupidly, right? Aggressively. Then on the returns on those investments, only I will buy things that I like watches and things like that. I still don't understand cars yet. When I see the depreciation, I cannot tahan. Yeah, so I think once you have settled your first property, I would suggest, since you're going to register next year, so congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Nick. Only then I would suggest to hunt for a property of choice under her name while you continue to build your own. But again, apply the same filter, the same strategy in finding out the next property. In your case, I have no concern. The only concern is because you really care and love your families, including your in-laws. You're just trying all your best to communicate, but sometimes this kind of thing, the communication only matters if the other party is willing to listen. If not, right, every dinner is going to be like a war zone. It's going to be like a conference meeting like that. But I'm excited for your journey. Everybody will need to go through this journey, especially for property investors. We are the minorities. Let's face it, we are the minorities who've seen something, somewhat understand something, trying out a theory that many others think is a joke. And the only way to prove it is by results. Unfortunately, it takes longer time. But to me, I'm doing it for me, for my family, not doing it to prove to others. It's not worth it at all. To me, I'm still trying. Don't say you, right? That's why I'd rather communicate it here for people who get it rather than people who don't, then trying to argue for the sake of arguing just to prove a YouTuber wrong. Might as well talk to you guys more. And I guess that's all for this one, a rather direct one. But shout out to your parents for showing their love in paying the down payment for you. How I wish that would happen to me. But thank you for writing in and sharing your story. All the best. And for those who still have any questions regarding real estate, do just email me at taniherng@gmail.com, or you can just DM me on Instagram, iherng, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Ciao.
When love comes in